Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we have another devblog for War Thunder, and this is for the Siebelfähre SF Schwere. And what you find before you is two barges with a bunch of big guns on it. A lot of people have talked about this machine in closed alpha, I suppose you'd call it, or pre-CBT, as the battle barge. Well, it's actually two barges which have been sandwiched together to make a machine which was supposed to be used to help landing forces. Before, for the Americans, the last devblog, we saw an actual proper ship which was designed to help, landing forces. In this, we have the German equivalent, which seems to be a hodgepodge of a transport ship with added guns on it to be able to be used to try and invade somewhere. Whatever the case, it's an interesting machine, we'll say. And the first machine that has been shown in a devblog, which is definitely different to the norm, as you may think of a ship in its, its general sense. So, conceived as a makeshift landing craft intended to be used for the planned naval invasion of Britain, the Siebelfähre was a modular German transport barge, often equipped with heavy weaponry, tasked with assisting landing troops. Aspiring captains will have the opportunity to command the intimidating Siebelfähre in the upcoming closed beta testing of War Thunder's naval forces. Now, I understand that I'm saying it wrong, and I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong, and to be honest, German has never been my strong point, so you'll just have to bear with me. Now, when it comes to this machine, so what do you get out of it? It's a landing craft with a game which doesn't have a lot of landing in it, so therefore its primary use that it was used in World War II is unfortunately obfuscated by the game mechanics of the game unless they add stuff in. We have many maps such as Malta, and even stuff like Sicily, which could use a machine like this, and it would be very interesting if it could be used in that way, in like an enduring confrontation side of things. But my general guess is that this is just going to be used to smash people with the 88s, which is completely fine until you realize you can only really get two 88s on at one point, and the majority of other machines that you have faster firing guns, which are going to do a lot more damage to you, and also the crews of these 88s are very much open to the elements. On top of this, you have torpedoes. This machine isn't actually that fast, since, well, it's two barges put together, and overall, when it comes to defending itself against aircraft, it is lacking, but then again, a lot of boats like this are lacking in that regard. In War Thunder, the SF-40 will be one of the starting vessels of Rank 1 that aspiring commanders will have a chance to unlock in the closed beta testing of War Thunder naval forces. In contrast to the numerous fast and sleek vessels found on this rank, the lumbering SF-40, with its displacement of 160 tons and maximum top speed of 16 kilometers an hour, isn't exactly what should be some would call a speed demon. Instead of taking advantage of high speeds, the SF-40 relies on its low speed and large size to trick the enemy into thinking that it's just a harmless small island. Okay, jokes aside though, the SF-40 is a force to be reckoned with despite its low speed and agility. Right, so to make this thing competitive, it looks like they're putting it at the lower ranks. This means that it won't face stuff like destroyers, where it'll get mauled. What is kind of interesting is that they didn't throw in that caveat for the American machine, so my guess is that American machine is going to be a little bit of a higher BR than what we see from this machine. They've said that this is one of the starting vessels, so I'm guessing reserve or just slightly higher than that. And what you're going to get out of it is a machine which is going to try and rely on its size, its armor, and its guns, whereas a lot of other ships are going to be nippy. Now, when we look at the meta of something like ground forces, we know that nippy and a good gun generally gets you much more places than armor unless you're in very specific circumstances. When it comes to ships, though, ships is a completely different game, and a lot of it revolves around who can get the shots off first, and also if you can land your torpedoes correctly, how fast your machine is, or at least when it comes to smaller vessels, this seems to be the case. So, in that sense, the battle barge may have a little bit of a place. It may be a machine which may get in one battle a few of its guns knocked out, but as long as some of them are seen as operational, then you should be able to annihilate the smaller ships that you're coming up against. Obviously, not having a lot of speed is a big issue, especially against torpedoes and quicker ships, and it all depends on how fast those 88s turn. If those 88s turn at a decent wreck, then you should be alright. It is obviously supported by 2 autocannons, so hopefully they'll help out as well. They also seem to be able to shoot downwards, which will help it a hell of a lot. Anyway, it's being essentially 2 barges connected in a catamaran fashion. The SF-40 offers excellent seaworthiness and is a more difficult target to sink than the average MBTs found at its rank. In addition, the SF-40 is operated by a crew of 47 sailors, the largest among the German Rank 1 vessels. Having such a sizable crew at this rank allows the SF-40 to take more damage in combat and keep on going compared to other vessels. So you're looking at a Matilda Churchill scenario here, or even an LVT before its hull break. However, neither speed nor survivability is the true highlight of the SF-40. That honor goes to its firepower. Equipped with a primary armament of 4 fast-firing, 88mm Flak 36 cannons shooting high-explosive shells, the SF-40 can virtually blast a torpedo boat out of the water with even one well-aimed salvo. However, due to the arrangements of the guns as well as their somewhat limited traverse speed, captains will rarely have the chance to bring all 4 guns to bear and track a target for too long. This means that aspiring commanders of this vehicle should make sure to seize every firing opportunity they get, as even one direct hit will be enough to cripple the enemy to such an extent that he won't be able to recover before the second salvo leaves the barrel. Well, it all depends on where you hit the machine, right? If you hit the machine and it only takes out, let's say, one of the guns or one of the engines and it's able to fire back, it all depends on the reload of these guns, and I'm sure the reloads will be affected by crew skills, but because this is a rank 1 vessel, I'm guessing the majority of people will not have the crew skills to be able to play, at the optimum crew and optimum reload that this thing has, so therefore it may struggle in that regard. Also, it depends on the traverse of the whole machine, not just the 88s. I understand a lot of people are going to focus on the 88s, but remember, think about a tank, right? So if a tank is turning its turret, but you're also turning the tank with it, you're going to turn the turret quicker. That's exactly the same as a machine like this. Now, when we look at a picture like this, you can see that you can get 3 88s on a target at once, if that's what you're going for. If you angle it like this also means that you are subject to more fire power and also probably more damage depending on the armor of this thing, which I'm guessing is not going to be a lot. So overall, we're getting a different playstyle, which is going to be interesting to see. At rank 1, it means that it won't face destroyers. The last preliminary thing I saw is rank 1 and 2 was PT boats or smaller boats, and then rank 3 was destroyers, rank 4 was light cruisers. I highly doubt this machine will ever face destroyers, so it'll just face the smaller boats and have a bit of fun with it. Give you a little bit of a different playstyle, which is definitely something which is lacking with the other machines that we see. A lot of them feel incredibly samey, a lot of them have exactly the same mechanics on them, so an SF-40 is a nice little change, I would actually say, compared to the norm of what we normally get. Complementing the ferocious primary armament are 2 single 20mm anti-air guns positioned at top of the SF-40's superstructure. These may come in handy at protecting the SF-40 from aerial threats, as well as fast-moving enemy vessels at close range. However, if you feel like they don't quite do the job as well as you want them to, you may use the 88mm cannons once more against aerial threats as well. Simply load the timed fused AA shells, aim, and watch a burning pile of scrap metal splash into the water in the distance. It's a sight you won't get tired of that soon, believers. Closed beta testers of War Thunder Naval Forces will have the chance to be among the first to experience the devastating firepower of the SF-40 very soon. Until then, calm seas, captains. So, this is going to be the most firepower heavy rank 1 machine. I would be incredibly surprised if there was anything which had anything near this firepower, unless you count in torpedoes and stuff like that. So from that point of view, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the most well-armored machine as well, so you got that going for you. But in ships, it doesn't really seem to matter how much armor you have unless you're at extreme ranges. And the maps, which we're going to see this thing on, are not long ranges, so that won't really make that much of a difference. Choke points are going to be awful for this thing because it'll get stuck in them, and it'll mean that you'll get torpedoed all to hell. And when it comes to aircraft coming in, I mean, I think you have enough firepower to be able to take them off. At the same time, you may see a lot of people loading the timed fuse just to annihilate PT boats, just because the PT boats themselves don't have a lot of armor, and these 88s are going to do a lot of damage, so that's probably what people are going to be doing. So instead of having to change ammunition, you can just keep one of the ammunitions to be able to annihilate aircraft and also annihilate boats at the same time. The timed fused AA is really interesting. It also means that certain ground forces vehicles, such as a 29K, the 88mm flak truck, stuff like that, will have their actual air capabilities instead of just being stuff like tank destroyers. So I'm looking forward to see how that works, or even if people, use it, because it has been in naval forces for a while. It seems to work pretty well, but a lot of the time you leave your AI to do the AA, and you focus on killing other ships, and then if you don't see any other ships, then you focus on the aircraft. So we'll have to see how it goes with it. I think it's a really cool mechanic that they've added to the game, and it's nice to see that it's not just affecting the destroyers and the light cruisers, it's also affecting the rank 1 and 2 machines, so that's lovely to see. Overall, a machine which gives you a slightly different playstyle than the others, which is a fresh sight, in my opinion. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time while the lorry goes past. See you next time.